I wanted to talk a little bit about some issues I've had with my stoma that maybe some other people can relate to, and just to let people know they're not alone when they've had issues with their ostomy. So it was early March. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and I had to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom and my stoma was gone. I literally could not see my stoma. I thought maybe the barrier ring had covered it too much, so I ran into the office where my husband was awake because he gets up super early, and I was like, honey, I can't see my stoma. And he looked and he was like, where is it? And I was like, I don't know where it is. So we both just assumed as soon as I ripped off the bag and did like a bag change that my stoma would reappear. Well, it didn't. It had retracted. So it was 4:30. I basically told him, I'm like, I don't know how you put a bag on this. Like, I don't know how you do it. So I put a bag on the best as I could, not really knowing what I was doing. And we went to the emergency room because we didn't know that this is just something that could happen. So I went to the emergency room, and basically they were of no assistance. They did a CT scan, couldn't find anything, and basically sent me on my merry little way. The next day, we went back to the emergency room, and they called the surgical team, who came in with a tube of paste and said, here you go, use this, you'll be fine. My stoma had retracted to the point that I could not get a bag to really stay on because it was kind of just going further and further, like underneath the skin. So this whole thing just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And my Cleveland Clinic surgeon was like, it should pop back out. So I'm like waiting for it to pop back out. So on Tuesday or Wednesday that following week, I went to see the stoma nurses, and they kind of looked at it and were like, we don't know how to put a bag on this. They were of no help. There's not a really good colorectal team where I live. So they put a flat wafer on, and literally as we were driving home, it was leaking. So I called Cleveland Clinic stoma team. They told me what to do to put a bag on it to kind of at least get it to last for like a day. And what they had told me to do worked. So I was able to get like a bag on it for like a day, but I still would have acid kind of like burning my skin. So the following day, on Thursday, we were snowed in, and I was like, I'm not dealing with this. So I called the colorectal team up in Denver, and I kept getting passed around, and I finally got a hold of someone who was like, what's going on? And I was like, my stoma has retracted to where you can barely even see the hole, and acid is just pouring onto my skin. I somehow got in with the head of colorectal surgery in Anschutz in Denver, who had trained at the Cleveland Clinic and then worked there for like 15 years. So I sent pictures to his office manager on Thursday. I met with him on Friday, and through the pictures, he was like, it needs to be revised. So he admitted me to Anschutz medical facility on Friday, and they weren't able to get me in for surgery until Sunday. I have never felt so much pain from my stoma, because it wasn't the stoma, it was that the acid was just pouring onto my skin, and it was just burning it. And I remember on Saturday afternoon, the PA came by and was trying to just let me know that surgery wasn't going to happen that day. It would be first thing Sunday morning. And I was just crying in the bathroom, and she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? She was knocking on the door, and I just showed her like what was happening. Like, acid was just pouring out. My whole area around my stoma was red. It was like retracted. She's like, we're gonna get it fixed tomorrow. And they revised my stoma on Sunday, and I was in the hospital for another day or two, and I went home and my stoma had healed. But yes, random issues can happen with your stoma, and it is scary and it is overwhelming and it is really difficult if you're someone who goes to like a specialty hospital for your treatment. Like I go to Cleveland Clinic for most of my treatment, and Cleveland is very far from Colorado. And I was very fortunate to get in with the head of colorectal surgery at Anschutz to take care of this. But I just wanted people to know that things can happen. Your stoma can prolapse, meaning your bowel can kind of come out of your body and your stoma is kind of like hanging down out of and your intestines kind of hanging out of your body more than it should be. But it is really scary when it happens, and if it does, definitely reach out to your colorectal surgeon, take pictures. You know, if your local hospital is not helping you, make the phone calls you need to make sure you get things taken care of. Don't settle for this is how it's going to have to be. It was a really scary time for me. I was in a lot of pain. I cried every single day. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get a bag on until Cleveland Clinic's stoma team was able to like kind of talk me through it over the phone. But I just wanted to let you know that issues with stomas do happen, and just make sure that you advocate for yourself and get the help that you need, so that you're not living in pain and you're not living in fear, and you're getting the help that you need to correct the situation with your stoma.